views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, I'll keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try when...
Over all the years of us traveling around the world singing our songs, a few of our songs got more popular than the rest, and we put some of them together into a kind of medley perfect for joining in and singing. So take a gargle and join in, you too. Here we go.
Monday, go day, wishing me hard in the Sunday, drinking buttermilk through the week, whiskey on a Sunday.
He sits on the corner of old Beggar's Bush, astride of an old packing crate. He has 3 wooden dolls that can dance and sing, and he croons with a smile on his face.
Come day, go day, wishing me hard in the Sunday, drinking buttermilk through the week, whiskey on a Sunday. We'll drink a till a little pink a savior out. The human reggae is she invented medicinal compound, but efficacious in every case. Now here's a story, a little bit goldy, a little bit happy, a little bit sad, about a little pink man, a medicinal compound, and how she nearly drove us mad. We'll drink till a little pink a savior out. The human reggae is she invented medicinal compound, but efficacious in every case. Her eyes, they shone like a diamond. Everybody, you would think she was queen of the land. And her hair hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band.
In a neat little town they call Belfast, apprentice to trade I was bound. And many's an hour's sweet happiness I spent in that neat little town, till bad misfortune come on me, that caused me to stray from the land, far away from my friends and relations, to follow the black velvet band. Everybody.
Her eyes, they shone like the diamonds. You would think she was queen of the land. And her hair hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band.
A long time ago, when the earth was green, and there was more kinds of animals than you've ever seen. They'd run around free when the earth was being born, and the loveliest of them all was a unicorn. And there was
Green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-backed camels and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants. But sure as you're born, you're never gonna see no unicorn. Oh, it's
Orange
the
and green,
biggest
you know the
mix-up
chorus?
that you have ever seen. Big father, he was orange, and big mother, she was green.
Oh, my father was an Ulsterman, but Protestant was he. My mother was a Catholic girl from County Cork was she. They married into churches, lived happily enough, until the day that I was born and fix your rather tough.
Oh, it is the biggest mix-up that you have ever seen. Big father, he was orange, and big mother, she was green. Yes, it is the biggest mix-up that you have ever seen. Big father, he was orange, and big mother, she was green.
Hey, Is this Will?
This is Will. Hello there, Patty. How are you?
I'm so fine. Well, welcome to my show, my Patty's Page TV show.
Well, I'm very, very happy to be here.
I know, you sound it. It's great to hear another.
Thinking for a while about this, so here we are.
About time, eh?
Autumn morning.
What time is it there then?
It's 11 o'clock here.
And it's 2.
It's to 11.
Right on.
And yeah, it's a beautiful day here. A little fog just lifted, and whenever we finish talking, I take my dogs up the local mountain here, and they're standing watching me and waiting for me right now. So every day I do a hike up the mountain. Keeps me alive.
It gives a goal to do as well. You're on a mission, eh?
Well, here we are, all these years later, from the day that I started my music career. I was 10 years old in Northern Ireland. My sister and I had a duet act when I was 10 and she was 7, and we traveled, believe it or not, all around Ireland. I don't know how my mother was so brave, because my mother was quite a religious woman, but she put us with a gang of vaudeville type entertainers, and we traveled all over Ireland, north and south, in an old Rolls Royce car of all things, and we did concerts. And so I came into the showbiz world quite early. I was a child entertainer, and then after that, of course, when I was 17, we emigrated to Canada, and probably the best move I ever did, because we were living pretty slim pickings in Northern Ireland after World War II. There was not much work, and so it was hard times, and the Canadian government, in their wisdom, offered anybody from Northern Ireland or Britain for £10 we could board an emigration boat, and we could be shipped to Canada for an inexpensive fare, as long as you could guarantee you would stay for a year. So they were looking, in those days, they were looking for immigrants, and so my dad took the opportunity of that, and we all headed out to Toronto, and it was a big change for a young teenager to all of a sudden arrive in an American world. We thought we were coming to America, of course. We didn't know about the difference between Canada and the U.S. So there we are. You came from Toronto too, Patty.
I was born there.
Well, it's a good city in those days. I don't like it so much nowadays, but in those days, we lived in a little outskirts outside Toronto called Millar.
I was raised in Agincourt.
Oh, Agincourt. Well, you were kind of neighbors of ours in a way.
How long were you living? You were born and raised in Ballymena?
Ballymena. The other claim to fame for Ballymena is Liam Neeson comes from Ballymena as well.
Really?
So, I came from, it was a mill town. My father, when he could get work, worked in the mill making Irish linen. It was a linen mill. And as I said, it was pretty hard times. But then my dad was a button-keyed accordion player. He was a musician. And so he encouraged my sister and me to go and do local shows, which we did. And we ended up traveling all over Ireland with that show. And it was a great experience, and I think it was my education for showbiz, because I was surrounded by a lot of old-timey vaudeville performers who really knew how to work a crowd and how to do stage work. I find a lot of the young bands nowadays, while they are great musicians and all, they don't care about the audience at all. It's a very self-centered performance that they're on. But in those days, the audience was very important to us.
Yes.
And we learned how to work it. And I find that there's not much much personality in a lot of young bands nowadays, because they don't seem to care about that part of the showbiz world. Whenever we started as immigrants, we came to Canada,
Right.
and I formed the Irish Rovers in Toronto, and we played the local folk clubs in those days with people like Ian and Sylvia, Gordon Lightfoot, Julie Mitchell, you name it. They were all going through the folk clubs in those days. And on an impulse, I said, I want to go to California. I've always loved the thought of California. I said, that's where all the folk clubs are if you want to make it. So I piled the boys, the other three guys in the band, my brother and my cousin, and a guy from Belfast, Jimmy, and an old Jaguar car that I had, and we headed down the coast of Canada, down all through Oregon, and finally we got to Northern California, where the Jaguar I was driving broke down in a place called Valley Ford on the California coast near Bodega Bay, and which is where they filmed The Birds, by the way.
Oh.
And an old movie. And the pub where the old car broke down, it turned out it was called Danucci's Italian Dinners in a village called Valley Ford on the California coast.
Right.
And when we went in there, to our surprise, we had no money, by the way. We had run out of money, nowhere to get the car fixed. And we went into Danucci's Italian Dinners there to see what it was like inside. An old pub. And here's the fakes. It was just bought over 6 months earlier by 2 countrymen of ours from Ireland.
Oh my.
And when we landed in there with our banjos and guitars and stuff, they were so happy to hear us that we started playing at Danucci's Italian Dinners. And all the local gentry started coming out, and we used to pack the place every night until somebody saw us from the Purple Onion, and that was a big club in San Francisco at the time,
Right.
across the street from the Hungry Eye. And lo and behold, we got an audition at the Purple Onion, which is where the Smothers Brothers started, and Phyllis Diller started there, a lot of people. And we got an audition at the Purple Onion, and lo and behold, a year later we were still playing there. So that was the beginning of it all. Now that I've hung up my banjo, and I've taken up my paintbrush, and I paint every day, and every March 17th, I have a really good gallery, an art gallery here in Canada called Gallery 8. And I hold court in that gallery every March 17th, and I have about 30 new paintings each year hanging there. I get out the guitar and I play a few tunes. We serve a couple of Guinness, and everybody comes and has a great time.
Right.
It's my St. Patrick's Day now for the last 10 years or so since I stopped traveling with the Irish Rovers. Well, I started the Irish Rovers back in 1969. I started the band and I took them to California, like I said, to get auditioned at the Purple Onion.
Yes.
And from then on, we got a Decca record contract, which was a big excitement in our life. And out of the blue, we got a hit song, The Unicorn.
Ah.
Nobody knows it, but the guy who played the lead guitar on the Unicorn recording was Glenn Campbell. And he was a studio musician in those days. And then that song came off that record and became a big hit. And we couldn't believe it. Here we were, 4 poor Irish guys with not a cent to our names. All of a sudden, we had a hit record all across America and Canada. And it opened up a whole new life for us, because we ended up playing at Carnegie Hall, we ended up playing at the Sydney Opera House, we played all over the world, taking our kind of Irish music everywhere. And I'm looking at the wall right now here where I paint, and I've got a whole wall full of gold records.
Wow.
And platinum records, and I'm saying, isn't it amazing at the end of a life where you can sit and say, what? I had a great time. We all had a great life in the music business, and thank God I'm still having a great time, Patty.
And may you have another 82, 83 years now.
Well, let's hope there's another couple at least.
We'll go to heaven and live forever.
Yeah, well, so one thing I used to say, may you be half an hour in heaven before the devil knows you're dead.
Aye. Are you still doing a wee bit of music? I understand instrumental. With who are you collaborating with? We have your CDs.
Well, I think we did about 15 LP type albums with the Rovers.
Yeah.
And after that, I started putting out a series of instrumental albums. And they were beautiful and they were very successful.
Right.
A company out of Montreal called Sacre Music released those Celtic instrumental CDs all around the world. And they did very, very well. And I still put them on now and again when I'm painting because it's all peaceful Celtic music. And I had some great players on those instrumental. I had Paul Horn, a great American flute player, and I had Derek Bell of the Chieftains. I had some really wonderful players, and I recorded some of the albums in Ireland, and I recorded some in California. So it was a good experience, these instrumental albums, because I've got 4 of them.
Hey, let's get to your wee paintings.
Okay, well, good. I got lots of them, and I've got a show every year, like I told you, on March 17th I open up. But now, the person that you introduced me to, Frank Bellotti, he has got some of my paintings on his site, so if anybody wants to check that out, I'm sure he will be able to give the URL for Frank Bellotti. And if they want to see my Canadian connection, if you Google Gallery 8, Salt Spring Island, that's where you'll see all my art in there. Just go under artists and you'll see Will Millar's name.
Aye.
Yeah, Gallery 8, Salt Spring Island.
This genre of your paintings, they're oil paintings,
Yeah.
and
They're all oil, mostly on wood panel or canvas. And I've always worked in oil. And I enjoy that medium. I really enjoy working in oils. It's the old way. And ever since I was a little kid at 10 years old, apart from the music in those days, I always drew pictures. I always painted, even as a kid. And when I was traveling with the Irish Rovers over all the years, 30 years in all,
oh wow,
I always carried little art supplies with me to pass the time in lonely nights in motels and things like that. I would draw and paint. So finally, when I stopped touring with the Irish Rovers, I was able to build my studio, put my easel up and paint every day. And it's a great, anybody who's bored with life, tell them to go out and buy some colors, a drawing pad, and I find that art is an escape. You can doodle away and time will pass, and I love doing it, I must admit. And I think my art shows that because most of my subjects, first of all, are mostly old Irish subjects.
Ah.
But they've all got lots of fun in them. Old men drinking pints and horses plowing in the fields and girls dancing in the pub. So I mean, I know that a lot of my art gives people a smile, and that's what I like to do.
the one that you had sent us for our silent auction for a track, I bought it.
Right, yeah.
That's the racing of horses on the shore.
Oh yeah, on the beach, which is very common up in the north of Ireland. They have, all over Ireland, they have horse races on the beaches here. The beaches in Ireland are splendid. Unfortunately, the weather is not, so they're mostly always empty.
Oh my stars.
2 years ago, I might as well tell you about it. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with throat cancer.
Oh,
And I went through the horrors of 7 weeks of radiation,
Oh, no.
which cleared it up. But it left me, lost so much weight, and it left me with a hoarse voice. But the alternative could have been a lot worse. So,
Oh, we're glad.
that was 2.5 years ago
Right.
that I went through that. And I'm still trying to get my weight back on, and I still do a little bit of singing. But like I notice now, the longer I talk with you on the phone, the hoarser my voice gets. I feel very fit, thank God.
Thank you.
I'm fit, and I don't have any pain, and I think that hiking up the mountain keeps me alive and good, and I'm into all kinds of health food these days. I don't eat very much meat, and I don't hardly drink at all, God forbid. The Irishman saying he doesn't take a drop. What about that? But I had my share in the old days, but now I'm just, I'd like to be around till I'm 90, so I gotta keep on looking after myself.
May the Lord be with you, and may He keep you safely in the palms of His holy hands. That's an Irish thing.
That's all. You know, we used to say that on stage all the time.
Oh, is that where I got it from?
And the one I like was, may you live as long as you want to, and may you want to as long as you live.
May. So what would you like to say to my audience to let them know the Irish Rovers still reigns, as well as your paintings and that, where they can find your paintings again, say your website?
Well, you know, the thing about it is, I find that a little happiness goes a long way. And the Irish Rovers music was happy music. And if you can have a laugh once a day about anything at all, it does you the world of good. And the old adage about don't sweat the small stuff. I know we live in a worrisome time of wars, and the Bible said there will be wars and rumors of wars.
Yes.
And it was true, because the world is really in an awful state right now as far as I'm concerned. And the politics, I'm just tuning out from everything.
That's
I
right.
can't stand the politics anymore, and I can't stand. So my philosophy is, blow up your TV.
And you know,
Smile a little bit.
Aye.
Take your dogs out for a walk, and be grateful that you're not living in places like the Gaza Strip or in Lebanon or somewhere. Be grateful that you're living in a beautiful country where there is plenty, and we don't know the half of it. So I'm very glad that I am where I am today, and I
Aye.
hope you all are as well.
and you know something? We are going to finalize this interview with the Keeper that you had sung.
You know what, Patty? That is my very favorite song, and because I'm very concerned about how the major animals of the world are disappearing, and mankind is so greedy and hungry
Yeah.
to dig up coal and to burn all the fossil fuels that we've really ruined the planet. So that song says, God is saying, of all these things I gave to you to keep and to protect, you didn't do it. And to me, it's a beautiful song. And I'm glad you're going to play that, The Keeper. As a matter of fact, I'm in the process of making a video to go along with that song. And whenever I finish it, I'll send it down to you.
You're a very sweet character, you know that?
Well, Patty, I really like what you're doing. You're keeping things alive out there. So long may you prosper and keep on going and keep the strength. Don't give up the ship and all those good things.
Keep your stick on the ice.
What's that?
And keep your stick on the ice, as Red Green would say.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Keep your head. My old friend Steve Smith said that. I was on his show a few times, Steve Smith.
Yeah, we know.
Great Green Show.
We saw you now.
Green Show was good. Yeah.
You're
Well,
excellent.
good luck on all your endeavors, and I look forward to talking to you again.
May we see each other.
That we forgot about.
May we see each other in person someday, maybe in heaven or maybe before.
Well, you never know. God willing, we'll do it.
Yes?
It's a song that just simply reminds us about all of those beautiful things that God left us and how we need to look after them and how we need to look after each other as well. It's called The Keeper. One morning when the world was new and we first saw the sun, the Lord lay down to rest a while, so pleased with what he'd done. And of all the creatures that were made, he loves humankind the best. And so he placed into our hands the fate of all the rest. And all these things I give to you to keep and to protect, from the greatest of the big blue whale to the tiniest insect, to rule with love and kindness, the weak, the wild, the strong. Treat my creatures gently, only you know right from wrong. Our man was so conceited that he couldn't see the worth of all the other creatures who roamed this lovely earth. And one by one they hunted them for food and sport and greed. And one by one they disappeared, each species and each breed. And all these things I give to you to keep and to protect, from the greatest of the big blue whale to the tiniest insect, to rule with love and kindness, the weak, the wild, the strong, and treat my creatures gently, only you know right from wrong. After many years had passed, the Lord came back to see the earth in his creations that he left so fine and free. Ah, but where are all my silver streams, the forest dark and green? It was only dust and desert for humankind to be. Where are all my animals, the hippo and the whale, and the fish that filled the ocean before your ship set sail? The lion and the tiger and the elephant so tall, oh, I left you as her keeper, do you not recall? And all these things I give to you to keep and to protect, from the greatest of the big blue whale to the tiniest insect, to rule with love and kindness, the weak, the wild, the strong, and treat my creatures gently, only you know right from wrong. And all these things I give to you to keep and to protect, from the greatest of the big blue whale to the tiniest insect, to rule with love and kindness, the weak, the wild, the strong, and treat my creatures gently, only you know right from wrong. I treat my creatures gently, only you know right from wrong.
Godspeed, my love, until we meet again. You're always in my heart and every dream. Don't let this time apart give in to all our fears. God will keep us close from up above. So until we meet again, Godspeed, my love. God is with us always, for the rest of our lives.